What's up, everybody out there in house flipping land? You have found the Golden Nuggets House Flipping Podcast. And this week, we have another great show for you. It's a little bite-sized chunk of information all about the difference between private money and hard money. Now, we use both in our business, and so I really wanted to put this episode out there to kind of clarify the difference for those of you guys that may be curious, both in terms of terms, also how you go about getting it, and who the potential providers are. Obviously, private money is the cheaper route. Hard money is sometimes the easier and just the necessary route. We have a show sponsor on our other show, which is Iron Bridge Lending, which is an awesome hard money lending company. So there are times when we definitely use hard money as well, but there's a difference between the two. And so in this show, we go into what those differences are. Now, if you like what you hear on this show, and you have not already, subscribe to our other show. It's called The Real Deals Podcast. It's the full-length version. The episodes are usually about an hour, give or take, and not these short little bite-sized episodes that we're creating here in the House Flipping Golden Nuggets podcast. So, without further ado, let's get into the topic. I know you guys are going to dig it. I want to talk about private money and hard money in this week's Golden Nugget. And what I want to talk about is, first of all, what the difference is, and then how to find and structure private money when you're buying and selling houses. Let's talk about first, what is hard money? Hard money is generally institutional money is what I would call it. It's a company that you go to that is concerned more with the asset than with you as a borrower. So they're looking at the asset and how much money they're going to lend against the asset, being the house, and not so concerned with what kind of verifiable income you have, what your credit score is, and things like that. Now, they might be concerned with how much cash on hand you have, because that's going to help kind of let them see how likely it is for you to finish out the project without running into any financial difficulties. But they're more concerned with how much cash you have and how much they're going to lend against the home versus what the home is worth or will be worth. So hard money is generally something where you're going to pay anywhere between 2 and 5 points, and then you're also going to pay anywhere between 12 and 18%. So points are 1% of the loan amount that you borrow, and then obviously interest rate is the interest rate. So generally with hard money, you're paying between 2 and 5 points, and you're paying between 12 and 18% on the interest rate. Now, private money is not institutional money because it actually comes from a private source or a friend, family member, coworker, an individual. It's not coming from a company that does this for a living. We do a lot of private money borrowing here in my own house flipping business. And the way that we do that is we actually will source private money lenders, and we do it a variety of different ways that I'm not going to go into too deeply right now. But the idea is that you find people who have money, whether it's in a money market account or it's in their IRA or it's additional money that they're going to invest somewhere and they're not using it to live off of. And so you then take that money and you invest it in your projects. And so what we do, and the way we structure our private money, is we generally pay our private money lenders anywhere between 6 and 12%. And we negotiate with each private money lender differently, and we try and get the best rate that we can get, but at the same time we want to make sure that they're taken care of and they're happy, because if they're happy to lend us more money as time goes on, and so we can do more and more houses together. So we generally pay between 6 and 12% and 0 and 2 points. It just depends on the private money lender and what they want to get out of the deal. We also generally borrow pretty close to the full amount of what our acquisition price is on any project. Now, we give our private money lenders a prospectus on, okay, how much are we going to put into the home, and then what's the home going to be worth when it's done. And most of the time, we actually come out of pocket with the repair money. That way, they're adequately protected. But they do lend up to 100% of our acquisition cost most times when we're actually buying the property. And that's because we're buying it at such a great deal that they're really pretty well protected, even though they're giving us all the money up front. So how do we structure it beyond that so that the private money lender feels safe? This is the important part. We never actually touch their money. And this is what makes them feel really safe about it. So if we have a home that we're going to buy, and let's say we're going to buy it for $200,000, the home is going to be worth $400,000 when we're done with it, but we're buying it for $200,000. So we will go and we will borrow $200,000 from our private money lender, but we won't ever actually touch the money like I mentioned. So when we go to closing, the private money lender sends the money directly to the title and escrow company. So they don't send it through us as an intermediary. They send it directly to the title and escrow company.
Then our title officer, or escrow officer, they will prepare what they call a note and a deed of trust to secure that money. And so the note outlines the terms of the repayment. So it basically says that we're borrowing that money at 10% interest and 1 point on the loan balance that we're borrowing, and that we have to pay it back within a 12-month period. So that's what the note outlines. Then the deed of trust basically reiterates those points that's in the note, but it secures it against the property, and it's a recorded first position lien against the home that we're buying. And so that way we never actually touch their money, but it's completely protected, and it's touched only by other professionals that are helping us through the purchasing process of this home. And that usually makes the private money lenders feel pretty good, because if we never actually can touch the money, then we can't run to Mexico and go blow it. Not that we would, but it gives them a peace of mind that if the money's never actually sitting in our bank account, we can never misuse it, or there is a much less likelihood of abuse or misuse for that money. So that's one of the things that we do with our private money lenders, is we always make sure that they send the money directly to closing, and then our escrow officer will provide them all the documents, the note and the deed of trust, that they then sign and is secured against the property in the form of a first position lien. And so that usually makes them feel really good and safe about their money. And then when we go to sell the property, we make sure that we give a payoff to our escrow agent to make sure that the loan that we had borrowed from our private money lender, all of the money that we had borrowed and the accrued interest and the points are all calculated into that payoff. The private money lender approves it, and when the deal closes, our escrow agent then wires the money directly back to the private money lender, the principal amount that they lent, plus the accrued interest and points. So it really works out great. Again, we never have to touch the money, and that's what makes it so easy to sell this kind of a lending relationship, because there is very little opportunity for abuse or misuse of that money. And in today's world, with so much embezzling and misrepresentation that's gone on, it's really important to make your private money lenders feel like their money is safe and it's not going to disappear like some Bernie Madoff scheme. So this is a really important thing when you're doing private money lending or borrowing, to understand how the process works and how it is that you can secure the money against the property, and at the same time make sure that your private money lenders feel very safe and secure about where their money is, and also how it's securitized against the asset. That's this week's Golden Nugget. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it, and I hope we went through in enough detail as to how to set up private money loans against the properties that you guys are buying and flipping.
All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's show and our breakdown of the difference between private money and hard money and how you can use both in your business. Now, remember, we're going to keep putting shows out like this, probably one a week, of Golden Nuggets from episodes of the past of the Real Deals podcast, and also new ones that we create as we kind of move forward. And we're going to keep them short and concise so that you guys can consume this content quickly and put it to work in your business. Now, again, if you like what you hear here, go check out our full-length podcast, which is called the Real Deals Podcast, and you can get a lot more information on all of the education and technology options that we offer to help you grow your business. Until then, I thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.